physics team at the UNM Cancer Center has expanded their treatment options, including a new radiation therapy option, which is actually safer for the brain than usual radiation treatments. Here now to talk more about this is Dr. Thomas Schrader, the Medical Director of Radiation Oncology at the UNM Cancer Center. Good morning, Doc. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Okay, so let's talk about this. New treatment options when it comes for people with basically cancer that gets into their brains. What is this?
So what I'm going to talk about today, coming from the UNM Cancer Center, is a procedure called a hippocampal sparing whole brain radiation therapy. And the reason why this is exciting and new is because traditionally when we give radiation to the brain and we radiate the whole brain to try and eradicate the cancer in the brain, it has some toxicity associated with it. And the most common toxicity is patients have problems with short-term memory. Sort of thing where you can't remember where you left your keys type of thing. And sometimes this can be kind of bad.
Sure.
And so because of this, there are different options. One of those options is stereotactic radiosurgery, which I think they've come and talked to you about on your show before.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, and the problem with the stereotactic radiosurgery is it can only treat the lesions that we see. And sometimes there are lesions that are in there, cancer cells that are in there that are too small for us to see. And so when we give radiation to the whole brain, we're able to eradicate those. So what we really want is an option where we can treat the whole brain, but we don't have this short-term memory problem. And so what researchers developed was this idea of sparing the hippocampi. The hippocampus is part of your brain, and it's an important part in the memory parts of your brain. So it helps you to remember things, and it helps you to make short-term memories into long-term memories and to process your memories. And so what they developed was a technique where they treated the whole brain, but spared that region from radiation. And that's what we're using at the UNM Cancer Center now to try and give patients another option to treat that whole brain without causing the memory problem.
Okay, so have you done this on patients so far?
We have done that on patients.
And what's
here.
happened with the short-term memory loss?
Well, so with this kind of situation, this is a relatively new technique, and we've probably treated about 5 or so patients with it. And so far, it appears like it's working really well, but what we really want to see is more long-term data. So it'd be nice to know in a year or two if it still holds up and they're not having memory problems.
Because I take it anytime you use radiation to treat cancer, particularly cancer in the brain where everything is so sensitive, you got to be so careful not to hit and not to hurt some of the good cells that are there.
Right, and that's exactly the whole point of this hippocampal sparing procedure, is to spare those parts that are important. And that are important for maintaining normal brain function. Okay,
and this is for people who have brain cancer or cancer that metastasizes and moves up into the brain, right?
Yeah, so mostly this is for patients who have the spread of cancer to the brain.
Okay.
And the reason this is important is because when the cancer spreads into the brain, it's analogous to throwing a handful of seeds on the dirt. You know, you come back in a couple weeks and you might have some shoots that are tall, and you might have some that you don't see. And so sometimes we can't see all the cancer in the brain. And so this is the type of procedure that will hopefully take care of that.
Yeah, because I imagine one thing you hate telling patients, any doctor does, is, hey, I hate to break it to you, but your cancer's back. We thought we got it all, but we didn't. There's more of it there that we didn't catch, or it's grown again.
Yeah, and that's one of the most difficult things about being an oncologist is every time you treat cancer and you get rid of all the stuff that you can see, you know, with all our fancy scans, and then you come back and you say, oh, looks like we got it all, you know, and then a year later or a little time later it comes back, and then you have to break bad news.
Okay.
And so this is the type of procedure that we hope will eliminate that, or at least reduce it.
That is exciting stuff. Dr. Thomas Schrader from the UNM Cancer Center, thanks so much for sharing the good news with the new radiation procedure. If you want to find out more about it and the doc, head to our website, casa.com. Click on the CASA blog. It is all there. Again, appreciate you coming in this morning.